wrote this the day before I turned 18. I really hope it doesn't hurt. Yeah, I've done it before, but it was never like this. Sometimes I would just lay awake and say, it'll be great. But now that it's the eve of forever, I'm losing sleep over what's to come. I used to talk to myself and say things like, you are a flower, over and over again, until I believed I was a flower, but only children play games. Ugh, that's not true. I can play games too. I'll skip rocks and hopscotch and down Whiskey 21. It's not far along, but with a family history of junk-tide paralysis, I better not indulge in booze or drugs, unless, of course, things get really bad. Then, of course, I can finally be happy with where I'm going, where I'm sliding. They say as you get older, you dread birthdays, but I don't dread birthdays. I dread changing my own diapers and powdering my nose with a smelling salt until a slit stitches, it itches, and bitches don't know shit except lickety-split makes the sickest lyrics seem like I'm a dope rapper, but all I think about are umbrellas and fine fellas, and jealousy is a funny thing because all I wanted to do my whole life was grow up, but it wasn't until my last day of childhood where I realized being a kid was the only thing I ever wanted all along. I used to talk to myself and say, you are not pretty, but I was pretty ugly duckling lettuce wraps that wrap up nicer than an OCD Christmas elf. I have to be careful who I kiss. That's not a problem, you see. Will I ever lose my sense of humor? Will I have to cross a river and shiver in the cold with no one to turn to when the sharks start circling and jerking me around and I can't stop circle-jerkling off to the sound of my own whining? How far does the river go? Am I Siddhartha? Am I Buddha? Am I Jesus? Gandhi or Kanye West? I don't know anymore. I'm not who I thought I was. But then I remember what Siddhartha said. And that's when I remember that I thought up a thought I thought that I never could not. Enlightenment is learning how to be childlike without being childish. Because, like Sid says, they know how to love. So, goodbye, 17. When I used to tell myself, I'm not a flower, I'm not a flower, I'm not a flower. And hello, 18. I'm still a kid. I am an eternal sunflower, standing in a field where light makes the darkness look like a bad dream. And here's to many more wet dreams and pajama parties and ice cream fights and sitting on grass that when you squeeze it, you realize you were the one on the earth. You were the one the whole time because you loved with your heart and you were loved in return. And on that day where you believe with all your heart and soul that you're not worthy of those, remember, thank you for being my friend and I love you. And I will always love you. Always.